Alright, guys. Satlantis. I'm going to skip through a bunch of the boring slides because they don't matter. And basically just start from here. So, about 5 years ago, there was 3, 4, maybe 5 million nomads in the world. And since COVID, that's like grown absolutely exponentially. Now you've got about 35, 40 million nomads all around the world. If there were a country, that'd be the 40th largest. It's almost $1 trillion worth of value in the global economy on an annual basis. And the way these people are discovering what to do out there in the marketplace, they're out there when they travel, is they're on fucking 10,000 different apps. They're on TripAdvisor, they're on Tinder, they're on Telegram, they're on WhatsApp, they're on all this bullshit. And none of it is actually cohesive. So we wanted to build something. Do I have a red point in here? I do. We wanted to build something fundamentally new. We wanted to build basically a city page where if I'm going somewhere and I'm new to a place and I say, let's say I'm going to Funchal in Madeira, I go there and I can see a description, what's happening, who the people are. There is a city feed which sucks in everything from Nostra, where I could be on Primal, I could be on Damus, I could be on any other Nostra app. And if I'm in Funchal and I go to a restaurant and I say, hey, this is a cool meal, or I went to a farmer's market, I went for a run, and I post, it would actually show up here in this feed without anybody having to even post on this. I can see scores, I can see chats. In fact, there's probably a bigger screen here where I can see all the other things, like events, useful apps, chats, etc. So I can discover the world through a unique lens. Now, where I want to go is I want to do more of a product showcase with everybody. So I always get asked, what the hell is this Satlantis game? How does it work? And the best way I can basically define it is, imagine you had the social profile of an Instagram. So you have a feed, you have a profile, you have all of that, with the Google Places kind of mapping experience, with the reviews from TripAdvisor and the events from Meetup. You can mash all of that up into a single place. We do it on Nostra, so instead of everything being a siloed network, people who already have Primal and Damus, there's about 1 million people on Nostra today, they're already on fucking Satlantis. They already have a social graph, they already have connections, they already have an identity. They can just jump on here and they can see these cities, the information in the cities, the scores, the chats, all of the stuff will go over here. Scores, chats, events, merchants, all of the stuff that's relevant to them, the people that they may or may not already be connected with, automatically. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say Jeff is a surfer, and he likes surfing, and that's the stuff he's using. I'm a Bitcoiner. You might be a fucking meat maximalist. I don't know. You got big biceps, right? So when you go on here, you're going to see a slightly different thing. So the posts you're going to see are going to be more about beef. Mine are going to be more about Bitcoin. Jeff's going to be more about surfing. Same as the chats. You can join just about any chat that is relevant on there to you if it's of interest to you. The desktop experience is much more like a directory. And this, I mean, even for you guys for later, like when you guys want to enter a new territory, you're going to want to be present in that territory in some way, shape, or form. And you're going to want to speak to these customers. So we've got a section down here, which you can't see at the moment, but it's like useful apps. So Bolt, Uber, ride sharing, travel, etc., but also exchanges, wallets, applications, etc. This will be a way to reach these people relevantly in a location. Right? At the same time, the mobile experience, so the web experience is going to be more directory driven. The mobile experience is going to look and feel very much like Instagram. So one of the unique things, if I just flip back here, unlike a normal social network where you follow people, here you can follow people, merchants, places, you can follow neighborhoods, you can follow cities. So in the global feed, which is what this will look like, it'll aggregate all of those things. So people, places, merchants, venues, even fucking events. You can follow each subscriber and you can see what their updates are. So the whole thing becomes extraordinarily robust in terms of what it is. So as a user, you've got your Instagram look. You can also have your info, which is like where your link tree kind of stuff is, all your links. another feature here, we're going to call bookmarks collections actually, is I live in Florianopolis. It's a beautiful part of Brazil. People come and travel there all the time, and they're always asking me, hey, where's the best cafe? Where's the best restaurant? Which is the best beach? What's the best thing to do? Inside my collections, I'll be able to save these collections of all of these things. So that way, I've almost got my picks or my lists. People kind of do that today with Google Maps, where they have their saved lists, and you share your saved list, and then people do that. Like, this is a way more powerful way to do it, because the things that you save and the things that you bookmark actually have a profile as well. And then finally, which I think is going to be our crown jewel of the application, is the merchant. I kind of think Bitcoin Maps on steroids, right? So each merchant, and this is actually really unique. This hasn't been done before. A merchant can have a page to build an audience, like they would do on Instagram today, but they can also have their information, like they have on Google, and their reviews, like they have on Google. So two disparate applications into one place now. And the power of this thing, particularly with the reviews, is if I follow you and I come to Venezuela or Canada, whatever, right? And you've reviewed a place, I will see that review before I see Joe Blow down the road. Because I don't know who the fuck that is, but I trust you. You're in my social circle. So the reviews are now oriented or ordered by web of trust. So this is like, by using Nostr and embedding it into a travel application, you actually change what you can do with all of these things. And now we have a directory, a social network, a mobile, and a merchant application, sort of all mashed into one. And it sort of leads me to where I think the future of travel applications is going to be. Like, I hate TripAdvisor. I've been traveling for many years. It's a fucking pain in the ass. What you see, what I see, what he sees, is all the same shit. And if you go to Prague, like just as an example, the #1 restaurant in TripAdvisor in Prague, fucking Indian restaurant. What are you doing? Like, and everyone gets sick when they go there. Like, it's completely irrelevant. The reviews are fucking fake. They're irrelevant to me. In the future, when you go to a new city, you will go to an application like Satlantis, and what you see in that city will be unique to you. You'll see a different city to what Jeff sees, to what I see, to what Adam sees, to what everybody else sees. It is going to be tailored to us because of who we follow, what we've liked, the things we've zapped, the things we found interesting, the guides we've saved, the collections we've saved. It is going to be a dynamic experience. And in fact, one of the other superpowers that Nostr gives you is you could actually take somebody else's npub, their public key, and you can log into Satlantis with that, and you can see the city through their eyes. It's fucking cool. This stuff is not possible on the current web. So, if you're already on Nostr, you're actually already on Satlantis. It's just a one-click login. You just use an extension. You can do it through Fedi, etc. But I want to do some questions. So I see the first question over here. I can't use shit. 1 second. I think I jumped to questions too quickly. But that's basically what this is. We're trying to build something new in the travel space by using Nostr, and you have Nostr and Bitcoin by default embedded into the product. So you no longer have to orange pill people or purple pill people. You tell them it's a travel application, bigger audience, bigger reach, bigger market, etc. So, question.
Yeah, so, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yep.
So, I was asking, what do I do with a Nostr public address before from some of the other Nostr devs? And so now I know one of the use cases for it. Because it sounds really cool that you could actually copy that address and see the city or whatever through somebody else's eyes. You will also see, so you see that as if with their web.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
So you're like basically can imitate that person. That's not cool.
It's really fun. Yeah.
Does that work today? Is it a feature that you can test?
You can do it. Yeah. You can go to Primal, for example. So, I mean, you could probably even. Do we have an npub login or no? Not yet. Okay, so give us a couple of weeks, we'll add it to Satlantis.
Yep.
But you can go on Primal today, and instead of logging in with an NSEC, log in with Jack Dorsey's npub. Go to his thing, copy the npub, go with that, and you'll see Jack Dorsey's feed. Like that, like Nostr opens up an entirely new design space that wasn't possible before, which is what was like one of the mind-blowing things. And in this context, it's very useful, right? It might not be as useful to see, Jack Dorsey's fucking Twitter feed. It might be, maybe not. But like when you're traveling, that starts to become really, really interesting because there might be people that you specifically follow who are like literally professional digital nomads. They know all the best places. They go to the best places, all this sort of stuff. You go like, fuck, I want to get the best experience. chuck their npub in, and I can discover the city through a unique lens. Let's do some questions. Let's go around. Mike, okay, you go first.
You hear me?
Can you hear me? There.
Good.
I'm wondering from the technical aspect of Nostr, what's the overhead of providing all this personalized feed and filtering for all the content for the app?
For us in particular?
Yeah, the computational overhead.
Shit, that would be a question for Rob, my co-founder, who's not here. But I mean, I guess lots.
Is that
That's my best answer.
I don't really have a question. I just think it's cool.
This is great. Thank you. I mean, let's actually do a dialogue here. It's like for Lenin, because you guys are a fantastic company. For anyone who hasn't tried Lenin, you should try Lenin. What do you guys do from a marketing perspective when you want to go out there? Because in the Bitcoin space, it's actually quite difficult to find people that are interested in these kind of products and services, and B, like Google, Facebook, all this fucking kind of marketing, it's all dead now. Like, it's really hard to get out. So what do you guys do as a business?
So there is no real. Can you hear me?
Yep.
That there is no. What I would say to that is
Hold it close.
that there's no real silver bullet to enter a new market, right? Like what we're doing now is a good example. Like we're here in Prague, we're catching up with our clients. It's a very targeted audience. Everybody's a Bitcoiner. We're all here, and we know at least that are here. We're going to be talking to Bitcoiners and getting a brand out, making people aware that we exist and the products we offer. Absent that, this is kind of the most targeted. The next sort of targeted level after that would be the local meetups, right? So that's how you would get to the local Bitcoiners. But beyond that, you're going to start casting a very wide net with, say, content and stuff that's, even targeted, geographically targeted Google ads, things like that. But the efficiency in that just dilutes, right? So for a Bitcoin business to be put on a site like this, where you're going to have Bitcoiners coming in and people that will need cash to pay for things, it does. To your point, the local exchanges, maybe people want to exchange some think we're going to go local fiat instead of borrowing from the Bitcoin, whatever, right? Like having those solutions in place like this will be pretty useful, and it'll keep an app like that eventually come to mind.
So let me give you a little thought experiment here. So at some point, I mean, as this thing obviously gains more traction, let's say a year or two from now, whatever, right? Lenin as a business, I mean, I don't know, do you guys have an NPub for Lenin? Like, do you have a...
We have our own, but we don't have one for Lenin.
Yeah, so let's just say you set one up for Lenin, right? And you start building a following and an audience there. You're producing great content. And you might do this, not on Satlantis, let's say you're doing it on Primal. You're posting your content there and you're building an audience, right? You're building trust in the Nostr social graph. And let's say 12 months from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you're like, okay, well, Lenin is going to launch in Australia. Okay, you might come to Satlantis and you might say, okay, there's trending cities in Australia, Sydney, Brisbane, whatever, and we want to, when somebody clicks into one of those cities, so let's go back to the city page. Where's the full city page? I'm just going to use this one. I wish I had the full view here, but I don't. But go to the city page and be like, okay, we as Lenin want to build up the following. We might promote a post in that city so that people see it. We might want to pop up, man, I need a bigger image. We might want to pop up, so imagine we had a console here, which is useful apps in Sydney, right? Lenin might want to pop up, so it opens up a new design space. And what we're going to do is something interesting with advertising. Like, I've got this whole vision to reinvent advertising. At the moment, the way it works is whoever's got the most money. So like Uber will come in and they'll just dump, $10 million on pay-per-click, pay-per-impression, and local competitors, they just can't compete because they don't have the money, right? Now, what we want to do is kind of like blend web of trust. So for Uber to advertise on here, they're going to need their own NPub. They're going to need to build an audience. Now, if they want to come to a new city and they have 0 followers, and another merchant has gone to the effort, like who's local, he's built followers, got a community and everything, and he has a fraction of the budget that Uber has, he'll be able to rank alongside because he's got a web of trust. So it starts to open up, it creates the necessity for larger companies with more money to actually build an audience and connect with people and actually build content, not just throw fucking money at shit. And at the same time, it gives those who are actually Are you off? Charming. It gives those people who are actually building content, building community, building connection, building value in the cities and on the network, the ability to compete with the Ubers of the world, etc. So I think there's a real opportunity here for like product discovery, and I can see like conferences, wallets, exchanges, ride sharing, booking platforms, all this sort of stuff, wanting to have some sort of presence on what is effectively a digital city billboard. That's what I see here as an opportunity. Beyond that, so I'll just shut up for a second.
That's great. That's great.
Any other questions? I'm gonna pass this around. Lady in the back there with the blue.
Hello. I have a question about login process. If you have two types of users, like partners and normal users, or just one? And second question would be, did you think that instead of advertising, like paid advertising for companies, companies could offer premiums, for example, for community members, or could offer discounts, whatever, based on being part of the community?
I think the design space here is huge. So, like, I'll answer backwards, okay? So, when Facebook first came out, Instagram, Twitter, all these sort of things, we had no idea that there was going to be influencers and businesses built on top of these things, right? The design space was quite broad, and people built things that we never expected. So something we want to do with Satlantis, and I think generally speaking in the Nostra space, is we're building quite broad. I don't know if down the track, people are going to be inside the chats. Like, I'll give you two examples here. I was speaking to someone from Michigan who runs the Michigan meetups, and they want to have their meetup listed in the Michigan page, so they helped establish the Michigan page. They're ambassadors who are basically people that are city champions in the city. And they said, hey, every second meetup, we do commerce. So people bring raw milk, products, services. Some dude like sold a whole flock of sheep at our last meetup. So it's like, people do that shit. He's like, can we in the chats, like, just make a marketplace chat where people just zap each other Bitcoin directly for products and services? Like, that's a great idea. So, like, people might use this for, literally buying and selling products and services. People might even, like, another great idea is using this for Airbnb. Like, so if you've got a property, you can create a profile for your property, like, that looks like this. You can post, you can build an audience, and then in here we'll just add a tab for bookings. People just pay you directly for bookings. So like it opens up a huge new design space. So I have no idea how people are going to come to use this in the next year, 2, 3, 5, 10, etc. And then to your previous question, the first one, which was how to log in. Login is NPub. So everybody, whether you're a business, a person, whatever, has an NPub. The difference is our client will have a distinction between a professional account or a business account, whatever we're going to call it, and a personal account. And the professional business account will just have extra features. That's it, or different features than the personal account. And that happens at the application level, not at the Nostra level. At Nostra, everybody's an NPub. And then after you, we'll hand it to Adam.
Thank you. One thing I would like to see, for example, on the business page on the Satlantis app would be what advantage do I have if I go to a new city, for example? What would make me choose a certain location or a certain Airbnb property, maybe? If they could add some offers, like I said, freemiums or something, whatever, maybe even for Bitcoiners, let's say, that would be really great.
Yeah, like some sort of loyalty or perk,
yeah.
or like whatever. Yeah, 100%. I think that's the kind of
Just
stuff that's going to definitely happen on me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alex, really like the product.
Thank you.
Congrats. I was just curious like how much moderation you see developing on the platform. So, for example, to create a new location, obviously that's a big workload to take on. Do you see the community setting different locations where you go geographical pages or how that's
Very good question. So we've got two types of, actually I should say three. There is the general user, like community member, more of a consuming person, so someone who likes to learn, discover, all that sort of stuff. There's the ambassador, who we're hand selecting as a team. So we're going to different cities and we're hand selecting the people who are already running meetups or Facebook groups or Telegram groups. Like, so the people that are already doing this shit on other platforms, we're saying, hey, come and be an ambassador on here. You get positioned in the front, so you're like a central node on the page. And we're kind of giving them extra moderation power, so they can hide posts. Like, obviously you can't delete a post on Nostr, but you can hide it on Satlantis. So Satlantis is a curated overlay on top of Nostr. So if someone comes, for example, and I said this as a joke last week, I was in Bulgaria giving a conference, and they were like, oh, so can I post, a porn or something? I was like, yeah, sure, you can post a dick pic, but somebody's gonna, delete your dick pic or hide it, right? And you can go, and we'll ban you straight away from Satlantis with your NPub. Your dick pic will still be visible on other platforms, right? And I'm sure if you want to keep posting dick pics, somebody's going to create a Nostr client for dick pics, and you'll be an influencer over there, but you're not going to have anything over here, right? So the idea is that it is going to be quite curated. So I think where Nostr clients are going to go towards is being quite curated experiences for different verticals of different dimensions. So ours is going to be way more visual, food porn, travel porn, probably even health stuff, this and that, like nomading, digital nomading experiences. I guarantee you there's going to be all these passport bros on there, come to Latin America to try to get married to a Latin chick, eat this food, get 6 passports, all this sort of shit. Like, that's the kind of content that's probably going to live on here. And the ambassadors are going to be quite in charge of that stuff. The other thing that helps is also the web of trust element, is that, let's say someone did, just creates an NPub, posts a dick pic. I don't know why I'm using that example, but anyway. Someone does that. I don't follow that person. And none of the people I follow that person either. Fucking show up. So this is where Nostr's web of trust is a real spam filter, and it's a decentralized spam filter. It really does that interestingly. So I think there's sort of 2 ways to keep the quality of content extraordinarily high here. But that's going to, be something that we deal with as we go. Does that kind of answer?
Thank you.
Do you allow a multi-city ambassador where, let's say if they're planning to go to 3 cities like Medellin, Florianopolis, Mexico City, they're like, hey, is there any Bitcoiners that want to join? I'm familiar with these 3 cities, and it'll be 3 months. 10 people will have a hustle house, something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, right now we're viewing ambassadors as people who've been in a city for a long time and go with, it's like they know it like the back of their hand, right? So if you're just sort of traveling through, what would be better is just follow the city, right? So when you click join here, you get 3 options: follower, resident, or ambassador. You can only be a resident of 1 city. You can follow as many cities as you want. And at the moment, ambassador of just 1 city. I'm toying with the opportunity or the option to have people be ambassadors of multiple cities. They really need to know them well. So for example, I could probably be an ambassador of Florianopolis and probably Brisbane, because I know those cities really well, lived in both, etc. But to your second thing about people nomading, wanting to connect in a house, etc. I think that's going to be a huge use case for people here. It's you find the other people that are following these cities. You can see who they are. You can see, oh fuck, John Vallis is going to be in town. He's following this city. I follow John Vallis, who follows me. There's a connection there. And I actually think people need to start aggregating in these different cities, because now you have some visibility. And obviously, one of the beauties of Nostr and the beauties of this kind of application is that if you want to be private, you can just turn it off so nobody can see where from going, if you want that. So you have the optionality. That kind of...
Yeah, that's answers something. Love the product, love the idea.
Thank you.
You've already said many things on the topic. I'm wondering, I think it's a really beautiful idea to have home anywhere.
Yeah.
And I guess partly also in the ethos of home is something which is free and open. And so I'm wondering, within the space, could you say something more about how you envision that this coming through in your Satlantis?
Well, I guess home is somewhere where you feel certainly connected, and you kind of know the place, right? And I think you feel very different. For example, when you go to a city and you know absolutely nobody, you literally feel like a foreigner, you feel out of place. Whereas you go to a place where you know a bunch of people and you may have interacted with them online already. And I mean, the funny thing is, I'm just putting a UI on top of what Bitcoiners already do. And it's not just Bitcoin, it's nomads. Everybody does this. It's like they go to a new place and they're like straight away, who do you know, who do you know, who do you know? And but the difference is you're on fucking WhatsApp, you're on Telegram, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're on this, you're on that, you're on 100 different fucking places. And it's really hard to aggregate that stuff. Here, I think you'll start to get the feeling of, okay, each city, who, what, where, when, why. And I think this is just one of the things that people are sleeping on with respect to Nostr. It's like it really, by pushing identity and social graph down to the protocol level, now all of these new applications are going to be built. You know, and we're just trying something new. I mean, I have no fucking idea if this is going to work. This could be the best idea, or it could be the stupidest idea on the planet. I don't know. I get a sense the way people are reacting to it is that probably is a good idea. And I get a sense because I have done all of these things myself, like all the features that we're building on here are things that I've done manually in 10 different apps at some point in time. So I think if we kind of aggregate that and layer in the web of trust component, I think we can actually build something meaningful. And I just can't wait to see over the next 1, 2, 3 years, not only how people use this, but the other Nostr applications that are going to pop up. Because one of the things, I'll say this is the last bit on just this brain fart, is Nostr is going to provide compound network effects. And what that means is, Primal is microblogging, right? Different type of content creator. Highlighter is long form, right? So it's like Substack. Satlantis is a little bit more like, I guess, Instagram, particularly the mobile version when that comes out. They're all different types of content creators. When we are going out there and getting users that are merchants, travelers, nomads, all this sort of stuff, we're bringing in one flavor of person. Every single person who signs up to Satlantis is a highlighter user, a primal user, a Damus user, etc. Then they're going to go and get people who are maybe more writers or microbloggers, content creators. They're bringing on people. Then all of a sudden, all of our network effects are going to multiply. Nostr is going to be gradually, fucking suddenly. Like, it's really going to grow really quick. And I think it's going to grow much faster than Bitcoin will grow. Like, way faster. I think Nostr will sort of reach mass adoption in 5 to 10 years. Bitcoin will take 50 to 100 years. Like, that's the magnitude of difference that I'm sort of seeing. So, anyway, that's my final comment there. Thank you all for listening. I don't know if I have any more time, but thank you. Oh, actually, I will say one last thing. We are hosting a brunch on Sunday. So for anyone who's here on Sunday, it's going to be at a beautiful venue called Opera. Jeff is handing out some invitations. You can actually RSVP on Satlantis for the Satlantis event. We don't have too many features on our RSVP, so you can also RSVP on Meetup if you want a calendar invite and everything. But yeah, if anyone wants to come, it's open. I think there's like 17 more spots, so thank you all again.